Hi family, I am popping on to give a testimony of how good God is, simply how good He is and how faithful He has been to myself, my relatives and my family. And I can't help to think that His hand is over our lives, is on our lives because of how blessed we are. And nothing good that happens, I am not going to give credit to the enemy because he doesn't want anything good to happen to us. Right? God has been just so good, so faithful to me that I just want the whole world to know that He is someone that you can trust, someone that He will show Himself to you if you want to. He's not going to force Himself on you. But he will making sure that you can hear me. He will show Himself to you in subtle ways. No, I'm not saying that He won't show it in grand ways either. But a lot of times I know persons expect God to show Himself to them in a grand way. But in subtle ways, He'll comfort your hearts, comfort our hearts in times of anxiety. I just want to say this. For a long time, for a couple of years now, I have been sleeping with the lights on. Right? I could not go to sleep because of some measure of anxiety. I couldn't figure out what it was at first, but then with a lot of research, I figured out it was anxiety. And I would feel more comfortable falling asleep with the lights on. And I prayed to God about this because I knew that this was not good. If I'm working on sleep, and if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I am entering a midlife experience. I'm going to call it that because it sounds better to me. I'm not trying to feel sorry for myself or anything like that because I am embracing this chapter of my life. And it makes it easier when I do it and call it as that, right? I am going through midlife changes, yes. And so one of the things I experience sometimes is anxiety. And so I figured out that's why I felt comfortable falling asleep with the lights on. And for months, guys, I have been praying and asking the Lord to help me. So because I am working on my sleep, and I know that for the lights to be on, even though I fall asleep, I'm not getting that deep REM sleep that I need, that my body needs, right, to recharge and for my cells to be repaired, right? And so I was asking God for a long time to help me. And not until a couple of days ago, I was about to go to bed, and just quite subtly, a voice said to me, turn the lights off. And I was like, I don't know because I want to be able to fall asleep tonight. And subtly again, turn the lights off. You can always turn them back on again, but turn the lights off. I am here watching. I do not sleep. So I'm here. I'll watch for you while you sleep. Right? And guys, I turned the lights off. And I slept the longest. This would be my issue. I would sleep for a solid 4 hours, and then I'd get up and struggle to go back to sleep. And then when I go back to sleep, I'd probably get 2 or 3 more, 4 more if I'm lucky. Right? And I turned the lights off, guys, and I fell asleep. This was like minutes before 10. And I woke up a whopping 5:45. felt so rested. Because there were nights when I would get 8 hours. I would get 4 and then I'd go back and try to get 4 more. I haven't felt this rested in a long time. And so I spent all day praising God. So the next night, a little nervy. But because of what happened the night before, I just kind of took myself back to what happened the night before and I turned the lights off. And so, guys, I have been sleeping with the lights off, something that I haven't been able to do for a couple of years now. So I'm saying this to say that even though God has intentions of answering our prayers, He may not answer them when we think He will. But don't give up. Keep pressing on, right? He's going to answer them because He wants nothing but good for us. And that was my question. I'm like, God, you want me to sleep, don't you? You know, that would always be my question. But instead of giving up, my husband would always encourage me. It's coming. It's coming. You may not see why He's holding out on it, but there's no in heaven you could pray for this and you're trying to do everything to get good sleep. It's coming. It's on its way. And so that's what I would do. My children would take it as a joke every night. They would put different colors over the lamp, you know, to have different colors, trying to spice it up for me because Mommy had to sleep with the lights on. But they would try to make it a little bit dimmer than, you know, making it all bright and so on, because the darker it is, the better you sleep, right? And my son came in the room and he didn't know I was in the room. My youngest son, he checks up on me in the night and he came in. He didn't know I was in the room because the lights were off. He didn't know. And he came back out and I heard him asking his sister, "Where's Mommy?" And so both of them got up now and they walked past me, went into the bathroom, and I realized they were looking for me. I was in the bed because I was sleeping. And I heard them, you know, arose up. I said to them, "I'm here." They turned the lights on. They're like, "You're really in bed with the lights off, Mommy?" And so I had to share it with them and just say to them, this is how God answers your prayer. Not look how long Mommy has been praying for this. And He finally answered, right? So I just want to encourage someone somewhere. Keep praying, keep pressing through. He hears, but He knows why. He knows why. And sometimes we don't have to know why. We just have to trust His heart and trust His love for us. Another one of my favorite stories is about, I didn't know if I was going to share, but I still feel impressed to share it because it just might encourage someone that what God wants for you, right, it's going to happen no matter what barrier is being placed up against you. Even your enemy, He will cause to feed you, for you to survive, to do what He wants you to do. Okay, guys, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to go on, but I said I'm going to go on because this is one of my favorite stories that I always seem to lean on when I'm going through my darkest hour sometimes, to encourage myself that the plans that God has for you, even your very enemies, He'll cause to be at peace with you. He'll cause even your very enemies to feed you for you to accomplish what He has assigned you to accomplish. He is God. He controls everything. And the story is about Moses. We all know about Moses. If you don't, you can read it in your leisure. But the point is, Moses was born in a time when Pharaoh sent out a decree to kill all the Hebrew babies because he felt a threat to his kingdom, you know, that the Israelites, their numbers were growing, and so they would probably overthrow him or something. Whatever his threat was, isn't my point, but he felt a threat, and so he wanted to kill all Hebrew babies. And Moses was a Hebrew baby. And with God's direction, his mom sent him down a river filled with crocodiles. And God spared him through that, and he ended up in Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh fed him without knowing. Pharaoh educated him. He got the best education. Now, mind you, Bear in mind that this is the same man who sent out a decree for him to be killed. And God used the same man to educate Pharaoh for his purpose, and fed him and kept him protected. Won't he do it for you and I? He's the same God, right? He will do it for you and I. And that always seems to wow me, this story. And I'm hoping that it does something for someone. Keep holding on. Keep trusting God. Whatever He has assigned for your life, if you have made up your mind to follow Jesus, He has an assignment for you. He is going to use you for His own good. And whatever He has assigned for you, you don't have to worry. He'll work everything out. He'll work everything out. He'll make all the provision. All you have to do is stay obedient, right? And ask for a spirit of discernment, especially in these last days, right? But be obedient. I also wanted to point out a couple of verses that I think is quite strengthening and encouraging for those of us who feel the need, but for some reason we are we feel the need to encourage, but we're kind of making excuses and whatever the case might be, we haven't started doing so, but you're feeling the nudge to encourage, right? God is a God of reward, right? He doesn't expect you to work and not get rewarded. And so, Proverbs 11, is it 11? Or is it Proverbs 10? Let me see. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me see. All right, it's Proverbs 11, verse 25. And I'm not sure where I want to stop yet. So I'll just go verse by verse until I'm impressed to stop. But Proverbs 11 and verse 25. The liberal soul shall be made fat. Right? And he that watereth shall be watered also himself. And guys, I'm a living testimony of this. When I decided to start coming on social media and posting encouraging thoughts and encouraging verses that I myself started meditating on, and it made my day so much better, right? In such a time where there's so much that we could be anxious about, meditating on God's word has helped me a lot, right? And so I decided to come on and share because I realized that the world was going through the same thing. And as a result, God did the same thing for me. As I encouraged, I was encouraged, right? And so we know that God is a God who does exactly as He says He's going to do. And here He's telling us that the liberal soul shall be made fat. Soul, right? And he that watereth shall be watered also himself. Let's go on to 26. He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. Right? So the Lord loves when we are givers and not just takers. Right? When we love to give back and not always just taking. Let's go on to 27. He says, he that diligently seeketh good, procureth favor. Right? But he that seeketh mischief, it shall come unto him. So it's like we like to say in Jamaica, if you're digging a hole, well, it's actually in the Bible. If you dig a hole for someone, make sure you're prepared to fall in that hole as well. In Jamaica, we say if you dig a hole for someone, make sure you dig one for yourself too. But if you're digging a hole for someone, be prepared to fall in that hole. This is how serious God is, right? And we know that He's a God. I can't say this enough. He will do exactly as He says He will do, right? So He says, 28, goes on to say, he that trusteth in his riches shall fall. Right? but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. I'm going to read that again. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. Need I say more? The Lord will not allow us to be having any sort of hope in riches. After all the money in the world belongs to him, right? And if he doesn't give it to you, or find it necessary to give it to you, it can cause you to be quite miserable. If God is not the one who blesses you with riches, one will find that you will become very miserable. And at that time, that's when the love of money becomes the root of all evil. Nothing's wrong with money. Money is not evil. It's the love of it. Right? And so this was such a beautiful reminder for me when I read it. I was just browsing through my Bible and I saw it and I said, you know what? Whatever I find that is edifying to my soul, I'm going to get up on social media, because this internet, this technology belongs to God. Right? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for man to create it belongs to God. And so if I can be in my home and be encouraging myself, and I have access to encourage one more soul out there, it's worth hopping on to encourage someone. So I hope someone is encouraged that if you're praying for something, and even if it's a good thing and it's in God's will for you, and God promises that he will answer your prayer according to his will, and he hasn't answered it yet, keep on pressing, keep on praying, be patient. Patience is a virtue, as obedience and all of these, right? The Lord might just be testing your patience and see how long it would have taken for one as myself to give up and just say, you know what, and started feeling sorry for myself, right? But now I can sleep with the lights off. And so, as with Moses, the Lord had an assignment for Moses, and I'm still wowed by it. This is years, right? I've known the story, and every time I hear it, I am just wowed by it. Whenever I'm in a congregation and the pastor starts to refer to Moses, this is my kicker. Moses was supposed to die, and the person who sent out the decree, God took him in his house. God was like, who do you think you are? I am God. I'm going to let you feed him. I'm going to let you educate him and protect him from yourself. Right? And he did that, and Moses was able to accomplish what God had assigned for him. So no matter who you are, what walk of life you are from, God will put you exactly where he wants you to be without you doing or knowing anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to worry about anything. Right? And as it says here, when you encourage others, the Lord promises that you will be encouraged also. Until the next video, God bless. Bye.